whistle open the front door fast. If you see a tall, dark streak of light running...
And greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Gen X Cinema. And for those you may remember me, for those that may be new, I am, of course, your host, Ambassador X, ambassador of all things Generation X. And I know it has been a while. I know there have been some changes to the channel and so on. And I want to give a brief discussion as to the changes, the rebranding of the channel before we get into today's discussion on The Dead Don't Die. So, most of you who have followed this channel since its beginning back about 5-6 years ago know that the Ambassador Wing or Ambassador Kosh or the Ambassador or whatever name this channel has gone by has undergone changes throughout the years. And I came to this conclusion not with any great reservation, but just with the fact that it's time to embrace who and what I am. I am a Gen Xer. Have been pretty much I have been all my life. And the majority of my audience also is Gen X. And also, I understand the significance that my generation holds in the pop culture landscape. This is not to say that we know more or are better at discussing pop culture, which includes movies, TV shows, etc., 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 but that we have maybe a unique perspective on movies, television shows, etc., etc., etc. So, hence the name change, Gen X Cinema, or GXC, as I like to call it. So, I hope you enjoy the content. Continue to watch my backlog and what I'll be having coming out over the next several months. And thank you as I get my health in line and order and start this new phase of my channel and my journey through social media and this thing. But with all that being said, let's get into the discussion of the day. The dead don't die. Now, I will be perfectly candid with you all. Until somewhat recently, I had never heard of this. To my wonderful, awesome, talented, beautiful wife, who no, is not in the room right now, Madam Ambassador, she clued me into this movie, and we picked up. Well, we ordered a copy off of Amazon. The Dead Don't Die, and I have to admit, I had never heard of Jim Jarmusch, but I'm definitely going to be checking out more of his movies down the road. But as far as the concept goes, yes, this is a zombie movie. It is a comedic zombie movie. And we have had several of those over the last few years, most notably Zombieland Double Tap, and of course, Shaun of the Dead. And I would have to say that this movie fits very nicely within that category, that subgenre of comedic horror movies or comedic zombie movies in this particular instance. And we have nothing if not a star-studded cast, some actors and actresses who I'm fairly well familiar with, a few who I am not, but all who give absolutely wonderful performances in this movie. Starting off, of course, we have the quote unquote king of zombie killers, Mr. Bill Murray, as the sheriff of Centerville. A nice place to live. Played by, of course, Mr. Bill Murray, and his right man, Officer Ronald Robbed by the wonderfully talented and surprisingly comedic Adam Driver, whose catchline in this movie is, "This is all. This is all going to end very badly," which is, I think, a callback to a certain line from a certain movie franchise that he has a connection to. I have a bad feeling about this. And of course, we also have, and I want to get this actress name correct because she does such a wonderful job in this. Chloe Zavinning, who plays Officer Miranda Morris, and she is so this actress is so darn quirky and so darn cute, and she just has this face that she has this personality, and this throughout this film, she is just this is not the face of a fearless enforcer of the law. She's somewhat mousy. She's a little queasy in things, particularly the undead. And gotta love her. I don't dislike the character. I don't even dislike the actress. She does a wonderful job, but this is not a this is not someone you would say would survive zombie apocalypse. And quite frankly, she doesn't. She does not survive. She is not cut out for the zombie apocalypse. She's way too sensitive. She still looks at the zombies as if they are still people. But she is Chloe Sevigny's performance in this. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. But I do want to go back briefly to Bill Murray and Adam Driver, Cliff and Robert. These two, this is like a more hard edged version of Andy Griffith and Barney Fife, but except in this case, um, Andy actually cuts. I mean, Cliff is the head of the police department in this quiet, quaint little town, a very charming little town, almost reminds you of the town from Beetlejuice. And it's just he has this very hangdoggish expression on his face throughout the majority of the movie. He doesn't get overly excited. He has a few brief outbursts of anger, but he never really gets overly excited except when um Ronald, um at least I think that's the name of the character. I think, yeah. Am Driver's character. He is just he's like, I'm tired of hearing the stupid Sturgill Simpson song, which is actually the title of the movie and the title of the song, The Dead Don't Die. And there's a particular scene in the third act of the movie where Adam Driver's character puts the CD into the squad car CD player and starts running it again. And Cliff is right. I have had enough of this. He's like, I'm tired of this effing song. And he tosses the damn CD out of the car window. And uh, Ronald is like, that was very uncalled for. He's like, no, it wasn't. I'm tired of hearing this damn song. I'm tired of hearing about the dead don't die. Well, of course, this town is by no means not populated with other very comedic and somewhat eccentric characters like Hermit Bob, played by Tom Waits. And I am familiar with this actor. I actually did a review of another movie that he was featured in a few years ago called Mystery Men. And in that movie, he plays this very eccentric weapons designer where the weapons are extremely effective but non lethal. In this movie, he plays a hermit, a man who lives off the land, who lives out in the woods of that surround Centerville. And your introduction to him is when Cliff and Ronald drive out to the woods because Farmer Frank, and we'll get to Farmer Frank in just a minute, accuses Hermit Bob of stealing one of his chickens and eating it. Now, of course, Farmer Frank has no actual evidence of this. He just accuses Hermit Bob of doing it. And the interaction between Hermit Bob and Cliff and Ronald is rather interesting to say the least. And Hermit Bob is kind of like our entry point into this very eccentric zombie universe because he observes nature. Obviously, he lives off of nature. He lives out in the woods, so he's very in tune with how nature should work. And he realizes things aren't exactly how they should be.